You know, I've been doing a little bit of weeding in my garden bed the last couple days. All my different bathtubs that I have set up for my garden beds. This is my peppermint one, and you wouldn't believe how, even though there's no greenery in here, just how amazing this planter smells as I'm digging through the dead leaves. My hands smell like peppermint, and it's just absolutely intoxicating. It's beyond awesome. But I've been thinking, as I'm weeding, all of these different little plants, like there's little grasses that I'm picking out, and there's of course some dandelions, some clover, lupins. There's a billion lupins in here. We had a couple of lupin plants when we moved in here, and Great 769 went to great lengths to eradicate lupins because he hated them. But I like lupins. But we didn't have them for years, and this spot was just kind of like barren lawn. It had been part of a field at one time. But since I started digging in here and making my garden, the amount of lupins that have popped up, it's just absolutely absurd. But I've been taking the lupins and throwing them, well, not throwing them, but like planting them down in the ditch. Hopefully, Department of Transportation doesn't mow them down or dig them up again. Anyway, getting off topic again. The weeds, all of these different weeds that everybody plucks out, pulls out, throws, burns, sprays chemicals on. I got to thinking about them and how good most of these weeds are. The dandelions are so good for your body, for detoxification and ridding your body of things and giving your body so many important nutrients that your body needs. The clovers, they're so good for the soil. They fix nitrogen, they bring stuff up, and they feed your garden. All of these little things, it just reminds me of, I don't know exactly where I read it, but I read a quote. I think it was on the little paper tag off of one of my tea bags, because I drink a lot of different herbal teas. And it said, the only difference between a flower and a weed is a judgment. And that is exactly what is going on in the world of weeds, is they're not completely weeds. They're not useless plants. They all have a purpose. It's just that the weeds are just a plant that is growing where they're not wanted in that particular spot. A lot of the weeds that I mentioned, like the dandelions, yarrow, plantain, I actually grow patches of these plants in the summertime to harvest them for my own medicine use. There is nothing better for an injury or a puncture wound that you think might be infected than a really good plantain poultice. I've used it several times, especially the last summer, when it's in my area. It's kind of isolated. Our emergency room has been permanently closed, and they've installed what they call an urgent care center, and good luck getting on the phone to them. But I've had to make my own antibacterial poultices to keep myself from getting a bad infection. Or the antibiotics that I was prescribed was just doing absolutely nothing for some reason, and I had to resort to witchcraft in order to heal myself. We are living in a very strange world right now. But it's just one of those little things that I think about when I'm gardening, and I'm pulling up these little tiny plants, and I feel so bad about pulling them up, but they're growing in a place where they shouldn't be. And the ones that are useful to me, I will transplant. The grasses goes in the compost, or I take all of these little grassy bits and I throw them in with the chickens, and they eat them. They get a little bit of supplementation to their diet, and they turn it into manure, which then feeds the garden. So it's like a big cycle of life thing. Anyway, back to the weeding and the trimming and the thinking. I've been doing a lot of thinking.